And share. Yep, good. You can let people in.
Okay.
Okay. Welcome everybody. I'm gonna make sure that take it easy because we're gonna have a very interesting morning together. Yeah, we're very excited to have all of you. Definitely. Just give it a couple of minutes before we can start. Yeah, we're gonna start on time and aim to finish on time. Just to keep a good habit. But I can see people already joining. We have 40 people. Good, already in. Excellent. We can go. Can you all hear me? I can see message already here. So, okay. Ana, how's people? Come a música now ouvimos. Okay, I'm probably wrong. You're gonna teach me afterwards. So, hello everybody. So, welcome to Edgar, to Miguel. Oh, what is that here? Hey, Miss Nell, let me just give you the rules as well so that, yeah, Miss Nell is now. So, ladies and gentlemen, so don't be surprised. You can unmute yourself so you don't, but at the exception of the speakers and myself and some of my colleagues, you can only unmute if you give you this power, right? So, we're going to give you this power when it comes to questions. So now, there we go. Yeah. So another 60 seconds and then we make a start, guys. Yeah. Very happy, delighted to have you here. And thank you for making the time. Very good. Okay. Let me just make probably a start at this point. Yeah. Let me just stop sharing for now. Can you all see me? Yeah. Can you all see me? Excellent. Brilliant. Yes, I can see you, and you all look fantastic. And welcome everybody. So welcome to our to our webinar, and we're going to look at a very interesting topic today. So we definitely going to be looking at, why is that it's so important for us to have early equity when we're talking at the beginning. But before, let me just welcome my colleague Edgar, Miguel, and also Misael, right? And I want to ask you a question. So have you already found yourself at this intersection between renewable energy vision and its actualizations? In fact, today we're actually talking about a very important question, which is going to be revealing the key to unblocking the potential for renewable energy investment. And we believe part of the answer is early equity. And it's so important to have this discussion today because somewhere in the Middle East, something very important is happening. And they looking to figure out what are the ways to triple renewables energy by 2030, and also double energy efficiency, which is one of the commitments I'm hearing we're going to see from COP28. So we believe that part of it is definitely tackling how can we provide more support to people at the beginning. This is actually where they need the help. I think equity is part of it. So welcome, guys, to this transformative discussion where we're going to be exploring how early equity investment play a pivotal role in building a pipeline for renewable energy projects and ensuring that they thrive and empower a sustainable future. So what we're going to do, so we're going to be together for about 75 minutes. I'm hoping it's not too much to ask you. The simple reason I did 75 minutes as opposed to 60 minutes, last time I did 60 minutes, people told me it was too short. I was, okay, how can I go to something a little bit longer, but not too long, so that obviously you can stay with us right away from the beginning. And I promise you, if you stay with us, there is something I'm going to be sharing later on, and I'm sure you will like it, especially the project developer who are here. So we're gonna be talking about strategies, sharing experience, and also exploring, some successes that we see in the world that sort of underscore the power of early equity in our collective mission. So I want to welcome my distinguished colleagues, which are experts in the field, and they will bring a wealth of wisdom, yeah, and they will eliminate a path towards a more sustainable future. So please really fasten your seatbelt because it's going to be very interesting, yeah. In today's webinar, it's not just about discussion; it's about taking some action. That's what I'm saying. There's going to be something I'm going to be announcing. You will like it, yeah. Taking action, driving change, and shaping a brighter and more sustainable future together. And without further ado, let me just begin our journey in building a sustainable pipeline for renewable energy investment. But let me give you the chance, maybe to my colleagues, to say a very quick hello. Right? Guys, just 30-second hello. So Edgar, we'll start by you, then Miguel. So Michelle, if you can come as well on the screen so that we can have a quick hello from you. Edgar.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for participating in this webinar, and nice to meet you, everyone.
Excellent. Brilliant. Miguel?
Hi, everyone. Good morning, Tony. Thank you so much for the invitation today. Pleasure to be here and hope to discuss the role of early equity investments with everyone and bring new topics to the discussion. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Excellent. So, Michel, want to say something?
Hello, everyone. From Mozambique, Maputo, and thank you for the time for the invitation. I'm glad to be here in the meeting.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, and very much appreciate to have all of you. And like I say, we have a very good attendance. We're proud about that. So, what we're going to be doing, because the time is quite short, so we're going to be moving quite swiftly. But I want to start by having, first of all, a survey poll, just to see where we at, right? Because it's good to have an idea where we're starting from in order for us to uncover some of the truth that we're going to see in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be launching a poll here. And I want you to, let me just look at that. I launch it back. And then if you can please play the role and just participate. And then once you've done it, we'll be able to carry on. There's 49 of us in here at the moment. So I'm sure there's going to be more. So I'm sure you can participate. So people on LinkedIn, so you can't participate just yet because you're not on Zoom. But feel free as well in the comment just to contribute, to let us know what you think. So that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be very much appreciated. So I'll leave it the time for people to contribute, and after that we will share what we have. Yeah, and I will give you an idea of what we have for the voting so far, and that will be brilliant. People are still voting. That's okay. It's almost like you're going through an election, right? So I have 34. Oh, that's good. In fact, the participation is good, actually. I have like 70% participated in the poll. Excellent. Let me give you another 30 seconds, and then we'll leave it here. Okay. Okay, Miguel, are you ready to see the response? Or maybe not.
Let's do it, Tony.
Okay, let's do it. So I'm gonna end the poll now. So, I think people are keep on voting. That's very good. I like it. I like it because we have 53 people and they see voting. So, yeah. So 80,
Oh, we see an
81%
enthusiastic attendance. That's great.
Very, very, very. I can tell you the very. So let me let me share that now. Share the result. Can you see the result, guys?
Yes, from my side.
Yes. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
You can see. So essentially, what we're seeing here is that we have 47% developers. That's very good. So 9% EPCs, some government officials, consultants, and others. Excellent. And the key question: are you looking for funding for your project? What a surprise! What a surprise! Yeah. Obviously, that's a joke, but that's absolutely essential because we all need money to get our project moving forward. And this is why we're having this conversation today. So definitely everybody wants to have funding here. Well, I tell you what, you're in the right place, right? I think we're talking to people who know what they're doing. And you may have something that you will enjoy. So obviously, between the maybes and the yes, we're actually close to almost 90%. Yeah, that's good. So clearly we're having the right crowd in here. Excellent. Thank you very much. Okay, let's just carry on. So I'm just gonna carry on now. So if we can just go back to the presentation 1 second now. I've just realized as well, I've not shared with you. Can you see my screen or maybe not yet? I mean, I'm just gonna bring the screen back because I want to show you as well what we're gonna have as a. You can see my screen, right? I think yes. Okay, I want to show you the agenda for today. That's important. So we've done just the welcome, and then we're gonna have obviously the first presentations. That's talking about Green Venture because I must admit as well, I want to thank personally Green Venture to helping me organizing this webinar and having this topic of today. So Green Venture, who they are, you're gonna find out. I'm not gonna say much about it. Then we're gonna have as well the other two speakers that would say a little bit more about who they are, what they represent. Then I'll have a Q&A session that I have for them. And then after that, we move into the Q&A with the audience. Please, guys, so I really enjoy the fact that you have been participating, 80% over 80% participation for the poll. That's unheard of. That's really great. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I'd like to see the same enthusiasm, for the question, because guess what? You giving 75 minutes of your time to come and explore a question today. So make sure that you ask your question, especially as well, people watching me on LinkedIn, on YouTube, just ask your question as well. So I'll do my best with the team to obviously take those questions. And the most important, we're going to relay that. And anyway, if you leave a question, we're going to make sure that we respond to all of them, even if we need to send you an email to give you the response. Yeah, that's what I can tell you. And after that, we'll have the speaker conclusions, and we're going to start wrapping up. So hopefully that's okay. And by the way, if you haven't done yet, introduce yourself into the comment box. Tell us who you are, so where you're coming from, what you're representing. And then if you have any questions, just let us know, right? So, and my colleague Brian as well will be sharing as well the links for our YouTube or podcast if you want to look at that. Please subscribe because we are here to make sure that we demystify the renewable energy sector for you. And today is just one conversation of many that we're doing. And again, we want to thank Green Venture. So having said that, let me now obviously stop sharing because I want to give the chance to Edgar to go through his presentations, and then we can all uncover and find out who is Green Venture. So yeah, that's all I'll say. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much, Tony. So we will share my screen. Is everyone seeing the screen?
Yep, I can see the screen.
Very well. Thank you very much again, once again. Thank you, Tony, for this nice webinar that we are having today. Green Venture is a Portuguese company. We are integrated in a group of companies that is the CJR group of companies that has a long experience on the construction works that has born 50 years ago, and more or less up to 20 years ago entered on the energy sector as a EPC specialized contractor for renewable projects. At the beginning, mainly on the wind sector, and then evolved itself to also the solar PV plants execution. And Green Venture has born with the objective to using all the expertise that was obtained doing projects for third parties to and with that experience to put that on the development side and investment on their own projects. So Green Venture currently is doing development, identification of partners, acquisition of projects, development of those projects, and then implementation of those projects. The group has an experience of around 12 gigawatts of energy projects built all over the world, and have worked in more than 25 countries nowadays. So our services and our objective is to add value on the several stages of the project development, since origination and development, then implementation, and of course financing of those projects, and then on the life cycle of the operation of those projects. So this is the fit where we are. Currently, we have projects from Green Venture mainly under development in Europe, in European markets. Nevertheless, we are also targeting projects in Africa, in the African continent, either on the utility scale projects, solar and wind, and maybe hydro also, and also on mini grids for rural areas and of grid solutions. We are a proactive company, of course, with an experienced team in order to fulfill and reach those objectives. So as a brief summary, this is the Green Venture track record and the Green Venture presentation.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Edgar. So that's a short and sweet. That's what we want. So that means that we'll have enough time to go through a number of questions. So if I can just welcome your colleague here, Miguel. Maybe Miguel can do a little bit of a longer introduction about himself. And then we have as well Michel, who is one of our very good partners as well from Mozambique and our project developer. And after that, I have some questions for you guys. And I'm actually quite happy because I can see a lot of people already asking questions in the chat. That's great. And as I'll say, so I'll do my best to take questions from Zoom, from LinkedIn if there's any, and also from our community if there are any. So Miguel.
Thanks, Tony. And following up on Edgar's presentation, just to summarize myself, I am the head of business development for Africa. I'm responsible for the origination side of the business, working on the identifying business opportunities across the region on solar, wind, and battery storage projects. Recently, I've been traveling across the region, talking with off-takers, developers, governments, with the goal of developing projects. We are here to support project development, here to invest. I can say that we've been in countries within the West in Southern Africa. 2 weeks ago, I was in Mozambique, very fruitful discussions where we had also the chance to meet with Misael. And we're here to discuss more about the role of early equity, the role it plays in terms of boosting investments in the sector, and say up front that the Green Venture is an early equity investor, and we're here to stay for the long term, and happy to take the questions that will come from the audience and from you, Tony, and looking forward to this discussion. Hopefully we bring some more bankable projects up front. Thanks.
Okay. Let me ask you a quick question, Miguel, before you disappear. Did you bring your money with you today?
Yes, we're here. We're here.
Good, excellent. We're going to talk about that. We're going to test it. So, Mr. Also very happy to welcome you as well. So you and I have been working together for a few years now, and I absolutely wanted you to come and share a little bit about your story. Can you do a quick presentation, and after that, I will kickstart the questions. I'm probably going to kickstart the question with you, but Mr. Can you briefly introduce yourself a little bit more, please?
Thank you. I'm Misael Baruch, representative of African Earth Service, a company based here in Mozambique that operates in the renewable energy sector, specifically in solar energy, mini-grid solutions, and others. And we are committed to the challenge of bringing energy to 6% of Mozambican without access to electricity yet. And we are glad to cooperation with renewable energy and the companies who are in this meeting. We are open to discuss, to talk, and to see some opportunities. And I'm happy to see again and talk again to Miguel. I know you here in Mozambique. It was nice to meet you, Miguel. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Misael. So, Misael, I'm just going to start the question with you, if you don't mind, because obviously you on the ground, you understand the importance of this topic, and you and I have been discussing about that so many times. So why do you believe that it's very useful for local African developers to have international partners that provide support? Here is the key part: in the initial phase of the project, not later on when everything is done, when it's easy to find the money. Why is it important, according to you, because you live in that every day? Why do you want them to bring the money now as opposed to later?
Okay, there is several reasons why local African developers find support from international partners in the initial phase of renewable energy project very useful. International partners often have access to latest technology and best practice in the field of renewable energy. By collaboration with them, local developers can benefit from the transfer of knowledge and technology, accelerating the development and implementation of projects. And international partners often bring with them access to significant financing, which is crucial in the early phase of projects. In addition to financing, the partners can also provide technical, human, and material resources. And support from international partners can increase the credibility of projects in the eyes of local and international investors. And I believe that the presence of partners with a solid reputation can attract more investment and consequently boost the success of projects here in Mozambique and around of Africa. In summary, support from international partners in the initial phase of renewable energy project in Africa is essential to overcome challenge and accelerate development and ensure successful implementation. Thus, contribution of will contribution to the sustainable growth of the sector in Mozambique and around of Africa. And that's why I believe that is very important, and we need a lot of support of international company like Green Venture. Is very important to collaborate with them in Mozambique and around Africa.
Thank you very much for that, Michel. So I think that's a very clear, basically, call for support, for not only for support, but collaboration is the word here, right? And I'm happy to see that. So I come to you, so Edgar. So you made that beautiful presentation, and the reason I wanted to do that with you, it's also because I think you're one of the few company you're not afraid to step into the continent and bring, like Miguel was saying, the money, yeah, at the early stage. Yeah, you're not afraid of that. So, as a managing director of Green Venture, I know you oversee project across the continent. Can you share maybe some insights into how early investment, equity investment, play a pivotal role in driving the success of this project and contributing to the sustainable development in the region?
Of course, yes. So each project that is developed, the objective is that that project is executed, is implemented. And to have projects that are possible to be executed, they need to be financed. They need to be bankable. And besides some other points that are quite important, the technical aspects and to develop the projects according with the best standards so that those financiers will accept later to finance those projects, it's fundamental. And let's say, it's quite important to select the proper area, to evaluate what is the capacity of the ground and what will be the costs, and if the place where the project will be installed, it's fine to do it. And for that, studies are needed to be executed, from geotechnical studies, environmental studies, and all those studies will cost money if they are properly and well done, and if they will save problems and issues that will arise in the future. Moreover, there is also the question of grid access, and grid access is one important thing and one important issue in African countries, where the grids are not so developed as they should be. They are not so stable, and so all the projects that should be studied on a proper way, and proper feasibility studies should be done to ensure that the project will produce energy and will be able and capable to deliver that energy to the grid. And all those points, all those questions need to be studied, and to make those studies, money is needed, and the equity is needed on the first stage. So it's not enough to have an idea and to say, look, we are going to do a project over here. That should be conditions and studies to support that, and to allow the future to go to financiers and have the money then to execute the project.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Edgar. I appreciate that. So let me turn now towards you, Miguel. So you're the head of Africa and Business Development Manager at Green Venture. And I know that you are at the forefront of identifying opportunities for renewable energy projects. And I'm saying that because you've been traveling very recently to Mozambique, and before that you were Cape Verde, and then there's the other trip as well that you have planned. So in your trip, and if you could say to the many people that are attending today, especially our my African brothers and sisters here having project, you are keen to invest. That's very clear. So Edgar, the managing director, said that you're keen to invest. but you can't just invest blindly. It has to be the right type of project. How do you assess the potential for early equity investment in various African regions? And what kind of factor would influence your investment decision? Because you're the first one to triage them before you bring that to the team. What would you say, Miguel?
Thanks, Tony. I think the topic you're bringing in is very relevant for us and for the audience. So this is great to discuss it. And just before going there, it was also good to hear the views on the ground from Misael and to say that here at Green Venture, we're here to support companies like them, partner and move projects further. And as well, it was good to hear the details provided by Edgar in terms of the framework. And going now into the question of early equity investment, as we all know, that there is a huge potential for Africa in the adoption of renewables. That's unquestionable. Africa is the richest region in the world in terms of solar radiation, but the continent does not take sufficient advantage of this source of electricity. And this is a problem. And I would like to highlight two facts to illustrate the need for more early equity investments in the continent. First, even though Africa accounts for about 20% of the world's population, it is the destination of just 2% of global energy spending. I'll just say 2%, and we can see the scope of this. There's a number brought out by the International Energy Agency recently. And additionally, in terms of the financier, it's also very important to know that the cost of capital for a typical utility scale solar project can be 2 or 3 times higher in Africa than in advanced economies. So as you can see, as a result, there is a lack of bankable projects in Africa. And I could acknowledge this in my trips and the studies that I've carried out. And so naturally, there is a concentration of capital invested in some key countries in Africa, namely South Africa, Egypt, Morocco, or Kenya. So it's important for Africa. It's a must, I would say, to attract more investments and improve access to capital to unlock more renewable energy projects. And so early equity investments play a crucial role. And we, as Green Venture, acknowledge that early stage financing is essential to generate a robust pipeline of bankable projects, starting with the pre-feasibility stage all the way through commercial and financial close. And investors like us and others often cite there is not enough funding going on into the pre-bankability stages to support areas like feasibility studies that are key in terms of being able to develop projects, and in particular, and this is particularly true in Africa. And as I said, we feel it, and I think that early equity investments can make the difference in terms of de-risking projects, and this is key to help moving them forward in the development cycle. And going back to the second part of your question, what factors influence our investment decisions? I could think of 3 points to share with the audience today. First, the potential for high return in a project. So that's the starting point as well. Second, the alignment of the project with the technical and financial capacity of Green Venture, and this comes into the likelihood of the project to benefit from Green Venture's expertise and skill set, our capacity to add value to the ongoing project. And we also take into consideration the credibility of the project promoter. And naturally, third point, we do have to run our internal risk assessment matrix to understand the risks involved. So combination of return alignment of the projects with our expertise, what we can add value to, and as well understand the risks that are involved. So these will be some of the aspects that we consider and influence our investment decisions in terms of early equity. Thanks, Tony.
Excellent. That's very clear. Let me ask you one quick question, and after that, I'd like to open up into the Q&A with the audience. By the way, guys, if you have questions, so hopefully you've already asked your questions. Brian, can you hear me? Quickly. Brian? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
Tony. Yes, I can hear you
Okay,
clearly.
yeah. Would you mind start collating some questions for me? We're just gonna take them. Yeah, obviously make the question. I think people asking questions. So if you're keen to ask a question publicly, no problem. Just let me know. If somebody, I can see somebody raising hand, I'm gonna take in there. But on the only condition that is gonna be brief, right? The question there. Keep it brief so that we can cover as many as possible. But Brian, if you can start populating some questions for me, so that'd be good. But I'm gonna take Baleta Steven, who want to ask a question. We're gonna do that publicly, no problem. If he's not afraid to ask. But yeah, but before that, one quick question for you, Miguel, that I want to follow up because you mentioned some of the factors that are important for you to invest, and it's very important because people are here to listen to that and see how this can apply to them. Quick question. So I want to find out from your side, yeah, very quickly as a follow-up question. So what criteria do you consider when you evaluate the feasibility of early equity investment in African energy project? And how do you manage the risk associated to these investments? I think that's the risk part I want to bring. Why am I saying that? What is one of the things that stop those investments from coming early stage? It's the perception of risk, wrongly or rightly so. I don't. I have my idea, but let me not share that right now. But Miguel, yeah. So how do you associate when you do the feasibility? How do you manage those risks that you could see?
Thanks, Tony, for bringing this up. This is very, very pertinent, and I hope you allow me to spare 5 minutes to go a bit on this because this is indeed something important. And to say that early stage financing is high risk, that's clear, and often takes place in the form of grants and equity. So it therefore cannot be financed by commercial banks normally. So it's likely to come from development finance institutions like the African Development Bank or the IFC, the private sector arm of the World Bank. And this resonates well to my past experience working at IFC and supporting the development of utility scale projects in Africa and Latin America. So to say that when evaluating the feasibility of early equity investments, I normally analyze two types of risks. So those associated with the country and those associated with the sector. And these risks vary significantly, as you can imagine, across countries within Africa and require different instruments to mitigate them. And sometimes we just need to internalize the risk as well, when there's not a possibility to mitigate. So some countries, for instance, have investment credit agencies and well-developed energy sectors, while others experience instability, low economic growth, and this has impacts in terms of where do we invest, how do we assess risks, and so on. So it's vital and very important to understand the features of each country, understand where we are investing. So I'd like to start with the country level risks and then proceed with the sectorial aspects. So at the country level, I think it's important to evaluate three aspects. First, the macroeconomic environment, and in many countries, in many African countries, the macroeconomic environment has deteriorated in recent years, and this comes through high inflation that has felt after the war between Ukraine and Russia, and high levels of debt to GDP, leading to many countries to be listed by the International Monetary Fund at high risk of debt distress. And as many African countries have state utility firms, this also impacts them. Second, the currency volatility. And I think this is an aspect that many developers have to take into consideration, the exposure to exchange rate movements. And this year, 2023, and last year, 2022, most African currencies experience a sharp exchange rate appreciations. And implications of investment in foreign currency assets is clear, is a mismatch between financing and revenue. So most clean energy projects earn revenue in local currency, while the financing comes in hard currency. So we're talking about local currency versus USD, for instance. And currency risk is essentially passed on to the utility, or in some cases, to end users. And how do we mitigate this? There are naturally hedging mechanisms, such as forex options or forwards, that can protect investors against future depreciations, but they remain expensive options. So this makes as well the project more expensive and needing higher rates of return. And the third point within the country level lens is the political risk. And this is something that worries a lot of investors when they look into Africa and they don't understand the continent. And this includes governance aspects such as rule of law and political stability that have major impacts on the perception of risks. And often investors, how do they deal with it? They look into insurance to counter this. And this can be provided by the World Bank Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency as a political risk insurance that covers risks linked to contracts, expropriations, wars, civil disturbances that are very relevant, as we can see this year in the continent when coup d'etats took place. The investors worry about this and have to be protected, because these are investments on renewable energy projects are fixed level investments, and investors have to take this into consideration. And second, at the sectorial level, and I'll be brief, we need to focus on two key areas, I would say. The regulatory environment on one side and the reliability of the off-taker. It's a big issue as well. So in the regulatory environment, where I do spend a lot of my time when I visit some countries in Africa, the degree of the regulatory environment for clean energy projects varies a lot in the country. There are countries like Uganda, Senegal, Ghana, or Kenya that are well developed and their utilities respond positively to regulatory guidelines. Others where the situation and the reality is a bit different, and the regulatory environment affects projects in different ways. For instance, clear permitting and licensing regimes reassure investors that projects will not suffer long delays due to onerous and lengthy approval procedures. So this can block or allow projects to move forward. As well, the legal frameworks put in place by the countries have impact in terms of the risk perception. And finally, the reliability of the off-taker, and we could talk long about this, that when investing in a power project, the creditworthiness of the off-taker is of great importance to us, that invest, because we want to be sure that we'll be receiving payments, and the company is investing, will receive payments on full and on time. And the majority of utility scale projects in Africa will sell power to the state utility, which is exposed as well to the country risk. So this has to be well measured, as many African utilities face financial challenges, such as short-term liquidity, and that arise from low collection rates. So the poor financial health of utilities increases as well transmission risks that Edgar has explained earlier, and in many cases limits the ability to finance the necessity for grid maintenance and expansion. So from my point of view, and just to conclude, a strong understanding of the regulatory environment and the off-taker with whom we are working with is essential, and then will avoid the headaches down the road. I'll stop it here, Tony. Thank you. You're on mute.
Okay, thank you for that. Thanks for sharing that with me. No problem. So we're gonna dive into the question now with the audience. Again, like I say, guys, keep it brief if you don't mind. So I have a few questions that I've seen, and I've seen as well one relevant question from LinkedIn, which I believe you partly already responded to, Miguel. But if time allows, we're gonna come back to that. I know Baleta Stephen. So if you still want to speak, so I want to give you a minute or less to ask your question. Yeah, let me just say I'm gonna allow you to unmute here. If you can you hear me, Stephen?
Yeah, clear and loud.
Okay.
Are you hearing me also? Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes. Can you ask your question, sir?
Yeah, this. No, I'm not asking a question. I'm not asking a question, but I'm just commenting. I'm Bara Steven from Jinja, Uganda, Africa. We are looking at renewable energy by using biodigester to convert organic matter into biogas, which are directly friendly to our community. And then we get fertilizers which are organic to make trees grow more in the tropics, and you get more forest to save the environment. And even working towards reducing the organic matter we have problem in our communities.
Okay, that's fine, sir. I think you're probably doing a great job. I appreciate that, and thank you for connecting. But obviously you don't have a question per se, right? You said, yeah. If no, I'm just gonna proceed because I don't want to. I want to make sure that people I don't miss important question from other people. Is that okay? But thank you for connecting.
No question, no question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. So yeah. So let me just take another questions. Is there somebody else who has a question you want to ask publicly? Otherwise, we're just going to take the written question that I have. Yeah. So if yes, raise your hands, and if there's a hand raised, I'm sure Brian will let me know. But apart from that, let me not move to. Okay, let me go to the another question. So Miguel, so I had or let's see, let me move to Edgar this time, if that's okay with you, Miguel. So Edgar, so I had a questions that has come through, and the person was essentially asking whether Green Venture has a footprint in South Africa.
No, currently we don't have a footprint in South Africa. That's a country among the countries where we have been that we have not been building projects or participating in projects development. We have analyzed some projects in South Africa, but we have never been in the country performing any project.
Okay, excellent. That's very clear. So another question that I received. So CNI client are looking to embrace renewable. So how do we make sure that we can accelerate that? I guess maybe looking at that from early equity standpoint. So let me sort of rephrase the question for you, Edgar. So is Green Venture interested as well in CNI, or you only looking at utility scale? So what kind of project scale are you looking?
Thank you for that question. We are also interested in CNI projects among all the other projects. So we are able or interested in projects with a minimum capacity of 5 megawatts and above that. What we expect in Africa, with some exceptions, is not to have projects with a very high dimension. The question of CNI projects is again with the off-taker and the credit rate of the off-taker and how it will be ensured that the payments are properly done. So because again, there is a question of how financiers will see that. And of course, financials will want to secure the money that they will put on the project. And they will require a lot of commitment from who will be the off-taker and of course the credit ratings and so on. But yes, even in continents out Africa, the CNI it needs to be properly studied, and it's not completely straightforward to be done everywhere because of this question. So in Africa, we will have also the same issue, and then to ensure that the proper conditions are established, that the project can be successful.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. So I had a comment, somebody saying that we're looking for funding for development of 600 megawatt solar PV, grid infrastructure, and battery storage in SA, I guess, South Africa. So, okay, that's fine. Guys, it's probably better for me at this time to bring, because I told you that I was going to have one quick surprise for you, and I'm hoping that all of you will be interested, especially for people that are very much in need of this support. I know a lot of you, there was about 60% of people saying that they are developing projects, yeah? And about 60% as well was saying that they need the money. So how can you reconcile projects with the money? That's sometimes a difficult conversation that people are having. So what I've been doing here with Green Venture, so I've obviously been a little bit hard on them, say, hey guys, if we're gonna work together, I want to make sure that we do something genuine, because we're not just here just to get people or just to have like a nice talk, say, hey, I want to help Africa, blah blah blah, but not do anything. I know a lot of you, what you need is basically some support to make sure that your project are bankable and can move forward. So what I've talked and decided to do with, not me actually, I've talked to Green Venture and they've agreed to do that. I said, listen, with an hour conversation, we're never going to be able to obviously go as deep as we would like to be. What about if we put together an exclusive workshop where you can really say to people how they can balance technical excellence and financial returns? Because it's actually at the intersection of those two that you have the right project. People like Green Venture will be happy to jump on board. So I have agreed with them to spend about 45 minutes next week to do it. But we want to do it with people that really have serious projects. The guy was saying 600 megawatt project here. We want people that have serious projects and are real about that, then to come forward, because what Edgar and Miguel are going to do, they're going to spend some more time, sort of a private community where they will talk to you about what kind of technical excellence your product needs to have. How do you put that together? How do you also reconcile that with obviously the financial return that needs to be maximized? So what could be an idea of a structure that you can put in place for that? What are the risk mitigations that you need to consider and look at? Yeah, much more from a very much practical level. Like you say, Miguel talked about his experience in IFC, so he's been doing a lot of projects like that, and Edgar has a 30-year plus, right? Experience as well. So looking at renewables and all the thing. And icing on the cake, they've also agreed to say that they would take 3 projects that they will fully analyze and give you a full feedback. Whether or not it's interesting for them, not interesting, at least you're going to get feedback. At least for you, you know how to improve it. And this is something that's coming from professionals that see that on a day-to-day basis. Obviously, for advice like that, you guys will have to pay, thousands. Yeah, I'm literally not joking. That is true, and you know that. And if there are advisors in the room, they could tell you the same thing. What I say, I want the guys to get it done for you, but we're just going to look at people that are serious about the project. So, Brian, if you listen to me, basically drop that link that people need to go to and subscribe to that. So there is a link where you need to register. Obviously, it's a free event, by the way. Don't be scared. I'm not bringing you something you need to pay here, but I want to make sure that time is valuable. So, Brian, if you can put the link down there. So, Brian has put the link there. If you go there, you register for people that are really interested, have really project. What we do, with my team, we're going to make sure that we actually screen people that are there and check, because I'm asking you to give you some detail about your project and the challenge that you're having. We're going to screen that, and only the serious people, we're going to allow them to go to the workshop. Probably the workshop we're talking about, probably not more than 10 people. But if you're interested, that's your time for you to go and do that. Yeah. So because we're going to cover some of the content of, let's say, inside that, we won't have the time to fully cover it in here. So hopefully that's very clear. If not, just leave me a comment here. So yeah, is it fine? So give me a thumbs up, guy, or a comment just to say, hey, I've understood. It's very clear, Tony. We can carry on. Is it clear, guys, or is it something you don't understand? I need some comment, guys. You've been very active. I need a yes, a no, maybe. Or not at all. Oh, I don't understand. Okay, what I can see. Great, very clear, excellent. That's David King. Sounds good. Yeah, okay, excellent. So we're doing that because I like to see a lot more project developers bringing together project that makes sense. So that people like Green Venture, it becomes a no-brainer for them. In fact, I want to give them basically, let's say, a tough choice to make for them. Yeah. So how could they explain the amount of money that they have available because there's so many great projects, right? So because at the moment, all they're saying, many of these guys, what they're saying is, we have the money, but we can't find the projects. Let's give them, turn it around, show them the projects so that they can tap into that. And who knows, if you have a very interesting project that beyond, I don't know, maybe e-mobility, I don't know, they're probably not going to look at that. But what I'm just going to say here, make them in a difficult situation whereby your project looks so good, they thinking of, okay, how can we adjust our approach and see how we can accommodate that? And who knows, maybe introduce you to some other people. Okay, that's very clear. If that's fine, excellent. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I'm just going to stop sharing and we go back to questions. So if there is if something that's very clear, just let me know. But I wanted to say that because I saw people were asking me, and I knew people were going to ask me that. So that is the one thing that I wanted to make sure that we do for you today. Okay, excellent. So let me take a question that I had from LinkedIn. So that was Kululi. Kululi that was saying that, can Miguel share points that he will need, I guess, let me rephrase it. He will need to consider to select a project. You've already shared that, Miguel, but the question is so important. Maybe you want to repeat. And after that, we're going to have as well Misael coming up, because I have a question for you, Misael. So Miguel, would you mind again summarizing what you will need to look at when you're looking at a project that could be interesting for you at this stage?
Sure, Tony. I'm happy to recap on that. I will not mention the aspects, the risks looking into investments, but in terms of the features that I think are of interest to us. So first, naturally, have an understanding of the IRR of the project, the potential return that it can have. So a brief grasp on that in terms of a financial model, something that can give us an idea of how well structured the project is. Then how we, Green Venture, can step in. So our role in terms of bringing that project forward, bring up our technical expertise, our experience on the engineering side, design, permitting as well, and the financial capacity to bring the project to financial close. So that is something to take care, and as well understand the credibility of the project promoter as well, experience, track record in terms of developing projects. So this is also something important, knowing that we're talking with the right partners, someone credible that has experience and is willing to develop the project further. So I think with that and a bit of a teaser, we can start discussions.
Excellent. No problem at all. So much appreciated. So Misael, so you've been quite silent, but I've not forgotten about you. So so how, from a developer perspective, so how do you see the impact of foreign exchange? Let me explain that. Because most likely the project that you would develop on the ground in Mozambique, like many African countries, you will have the income, the revenue in the local currency, yeah. But usually when people bring in investment, they bring that in dollars, in euros, in pounds. Is it how much of a concern is it for you? Would you say, is it a concern, not a concern as a developer? What would you say, Misael?
First of all, collaboration between project developers and equity investor plays a crucial role in ensuring the long-term sustainability and success of renewable energy initiative in Mozambique, as well as across Africa. This collaboration can be optimized through several practices and approaches. And promoters and investors need to align their interests by sharing risks and returns. How can I say, equitable. So this can be done through financing structures and encourage both parts to contribute to the success of the project. Developers and investors, they must have in a deep and in deep understanding of local contexts and including regulatory, cultural, and social aspects. This helps in adapting strategies and that better align with the specifics conditional to each region. So investors can bring more than just capital. They often have access to extensive network and available source. So collaboration, if we collaborating on the project, it allows promoters to access these networks, benefiting from additional knowledge, experience, and contracts. So by optimizing collaboration between project developers and renewable energy investors in Mozambique and across Africa, it is possible to build a stronger foundation for long-term success, ensuring that economic and social and environmental benefits are maximized. I don't know if I'm clear, but this is what I'm thinking about.
No, I think that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. And I know as well, Mister, that you're making very a strong effort as well to explain that in language that not necessarily your initial language, but that's absolutely fine. So thank you for making that effort. You're right. When in the issue of FX, there needs to be a collaboration between the local partner and the international partner, and there needs to be some kind of a risk sharing here because. And Miguel also pointed that out is one of the key challenge, yeah, and it's not an easy way around way around it. However, with good willingness from both sides, there could be some solutions that are there. Let me ask the last questions before we can start wrapping up. I know it's gone so fast, but yeah, but before I last question, like I say, so the workshop is there for people that really want that support to say, hey, I like to find out what an equity investor like Green Venture would like me to present so that they say yes, yes, yes to the project. I have this guy that's going to give you like a 45 minute. They maybe can extend that. I mean, it's up to them to decide if they want to extend the time 45 minutes or more than that, where they give you clearly those insights. Just click on that link if you haven't done it yet and just go to that. But please, if you're not just here, just say, hey, I'm just going to be joking. I think you're wasting your time because obviously when I filter and I see that you're not serious about that, we're not going to allow you to go there because I only want people that are serious for them to get what they need in order for them to move forward with their project. So let me come back to the last question for you, Edgar, if that's fine. So, and I know that there was about 5% of the people that obviously the official government official, right? I don't want to ignore them because they're so important for us. They're so important in what we're looking to build in here. So the question I want to ask, so given your extensive experience, Edgar, in renewables energy sector, what advice would you give to African government and local authorities to create a conducive environment for attracting those early investment, equity investment, and sort of fostering a thriving renewable energy ecosystem. What would you say, Edgar?
Thank you, Tony. It's mandatory that the regulatory framework it's clear, and it's of course allows the development of these kind of projects with a system where is separated the entities between what is the utility, what is which are the persons that make the regulation, and of course the proper regulation that is stable and it will not change from time to time, putting the projects that are under development under pressure. So that is the main question that is fundamental to have.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much for that, and I appreciate that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've come toward the end at the end of the conversation here, but we still have 5-10 minutes to go. So, what I wanted to do, I just wanted to give a chance to each of our speakers just to have a final word and what we can say about this topic, and then after that, we're gonna be wrapping up. So. Maybe if I start with you, Miguel. So obviously, we talked about equity investment. So I talked about the fact that we have the workshop where you kindly agreed with Edgar to spend an additional 45 minutes to an hour to explain to people, obviously, what they need to do in order to have technical excellence, in order to have with the financial returns, in order to meet the risk that needs to be tackled and for them to have a project there where everybody can say yes, yes, yes. And let me ask you a question, right? To close that up, so you can use it in your closing remarks. So, e-mobility is making big waves in the continent. Is this something that you may be willing to look at? So, there you go, Miguel.
Oh, thanks, Tony, and thanks everyone for attending today's webinar. I hope it was helpful. I hope it brought more, let's say, answers than questions, and that it kind of triggers everyone interest to develop more projects in Africa. So we hope that this was a first interaction of many with Green Venture, and we hope that we can connect with many of you afterwards bilaterally, and incentivize people to sign in for the workshop. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for us to meet you, to meet your project, and see how we can eventually partner together. So I'll leave that door open, and hopefully as well connect with many of you on the continent in our next visits. And going to you, Tony, in terms of e-mobility, I know this is something that is flourishing, is recent, and for instance, I can resonate that in Cabo Verde, the government is pushing already for e-mobility. It's happening. We've seen electric cars circulating around the city of Praia. So this is something that is coming. Maybe not tomorrow in some countries, but in 10 years' time, 5. So we're currently not working on e-mobility, but we cannot close the door going forward, because Africa is needs needs a better transport system and solutions to do so. So e-mobility will definitely be here to stay and decarbonize the transport sector. So just to say thank you to everyone. It was a real pleasure, and hope we can develop and push more renewable energy projects in Africa. So thank you, everyone.
Excellent. So, Michelle, maybe I can have your final words.
Thank you for the opportunity, and we are in Mozambique waiting for you who are interested to invest in solar project here. We have many opportunities, and we need to collaborate, and we are open. Thank you.
Excellent. So last but not the least, Edgar.
Very well, thank you very much, Tony. Thank you to all the participants that took some of his time to be here today. We hope that it was fruitful conversation, and we hope, of course, to keep in touch with all of you so that we can study possibilities of cooperation for the future. Thank you very much once again.
Excellent, brilliant. So guys, I think everything was brilliant today. So there's just one little technical issue that I'm having. So I wanted to have a little survey for you, just to see how much what you think about the session that we had. But obviously, we can't get it to work at the moment, but we're just going to improvise. So I just want to find out from you, if you can let us know in the comments. So how did you find today's conversation? I wanted to tell us in your own words. So how did you find the content, the format, and also the overall organization of the event? So just in your own words, put that into the comments. My team and I will dive on that. I apologize for not having the survey working. So it's my fault, put it on me, but I still want to get your feedback, yeah, and let us know. So what do you think about that? So in the comment, that's fine. So that would be great, yeah. So can I count on your support for that? Yeah, are you gonna all say something about it? No, nice. Be honest, right? Be honest, no problem. So we are here to make sure that we bring you the best information, the best insight possible, and that's just one conversation of many that we're gonna have. And then we're hoping that we continue. But I can only do that, and I can only improve if you guys will contribute, do your part, yeah, and obviously share with us what you think. So please let us know. Yeah, I can see obrigado. Any language is possible, right? So I'll go in deeper or Google Translate. I'll translate that. In French, in Portuguese, in Spanish, in Swahili. Say that in any word that you want. So I promise I can challenge you that I make sure that I understand everything. Yeah. So, but for me, it was brilliant. And while you're doing that, let me just also bring that to a conclusion, our conversation of today. So, I wanted to remember the journey that we begin today, right? So the seed of knowledge, of inspiration that we planted here, it has to continue to grow. It has to take us to a future where really renewables energy will reign supreme. I know in the continent, we still need to have, to some extent, fossil fuel. I think I agree with that personally, yeah, looking at where we are. Yeah, but it needs to be a journey whereby progressively we give, its place to renewable in order to really help us to go to the next stage, And there is an African proverb that many of you will know in here, which says that, if you want to go quickly, you go alone. But if you want to go far, we go together. So together here, we have embarked into a path that leads us towards, I believe, a more sustainable and empowered tomorrow, right? Especially for the continent of Africa, clearly for the world as well, yeah? And I want to thank you for being part of this transformative conversation. Like I say, it's a first conversation of many, and then that's why your feedback is so important, and that's why the project developers around you or the consultant around you are serious, would go to that workshop, do what is necessary to engage with Green Ventures and say, hey guys, this is what we need in here. And this is how you can help. But tell us, how do we make sure that we position ourselves so that it becomes a no-brainer for you to invest in us and bet in us? Yeah, that's what we have in here. So thank you very much for that. Let's continue our journey to make a difference. And as you will see, my colleague Brian will have put into comments so our link for our podcast. We have a lot of podcasts. Some of you want to be interviewing our podcast, reach out to us, or our LinkedIn Live, reach out to us if you want to be interviewed there. And then YouTube as well. Please all go to the YouTube, like it. Yeah. So that's why we can actually get the conversation to move. And obviously, I've not been to COP28 for this year, but we can still contribute, because the whole point is not just to be there to make a point. You can contribute at any point in time. So thank you very much again. So I'm just gonna leave you with a screen and some nice music, and hopefully we can call it today. So thank you very much for your time. Oh, sorry, let me just go back there. And then I'm hoping to see you very soon. Yeah. Let me just put some music here first. Apology if it's too loud, but we're done now. Take care, guys. Oh, thank you to the speakers, right? I forgot to mention that. Thank you to all of you. Really
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Tony. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.